Hey everyone. Hello. Are you able to see my screen? Able to hear?
Yes,
Hello.
yes, Harry. Yes.
Yep. Thank you. So hello everyone. So this is from DurgaSoft. So what we will discuss. So in this course we'll discuss about the Git and GitHub. This is for level one beginners. And so what we are discussing? We are discussing about the Git and GitHub. What is Git? What is a GitHub? Okay. Here myself, I'm a Hari Cheruku. I'm a DevOps consultant and solution architect with 12 plus years of industry experience as a real-time and trainer. And I have done some few certifications. Those are I'm ITL certified V3 engineer. I'm a Red Hat certified system administrator, and I'm a Red Hat certified Linux engineer. And I'm a AWS certified solution architect associate. I'm a certified Kubernetes administrator, guys. Okay. And agenda for this course is introduction to Git and GitHub and usage of GitHub user interface, how we can use the GitHub user interface and the command line usage of the Git. So this is for the remote GitHub and this is for the local Git, how we can push pull the code and towards advanced usage we'll discuss about and what are the prerequisites. So what are the prerequisites to learn this course? There is no prerequisite is none, but pay attention. So who is passionate about something like a developer or a QA engineer or a operational engineer, DevOps engineer, whoever guys. So in the industry nowadays everyone can use the that Git and GitHub repositories to store their data or something like the developers develop that code and push it to the remote repositories, right? That repositories should be GitHub or Bitbucket or GitLab, whatever it may be. So the QA automation, right? The QA engineers also they write their automation code and they will keep it in somewhere else, right? That so they will keep it in the remote repositories, GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket and the operation engineers or the DevOps guys, their CI/CD code will be infrastructure, Terraform code, every. So the code will be store it under the Git or GitHub repositories. Okay. So goals and objectives. What are the goals? At the end of this class, you should know how to get started with the GitHub and able to work with the Git repositories. So find the information and support to learn more. Okay, so modules we will cover the module one introduction to version control system. What is version control? Types of version control, centralized or distributed version control system. So benefits of version control system, introduction to Git and so history of a Git and GitHub and GitLab and Bitbucket. So and this is the module one. And module two will discuss about the Git installation and the configuration and the setup environment setup of the that is how to install the Git on your local and how to register and set up the account for the how to set up the account for the GitHub. Will show you installing on Windows, Linux, Mac, basic Git configuration, user and email, how to set up Git GUI tools and command line tools. So in the local, so we will discuss about the command line like a Git Bash on the Windows and the Git GUI tools like we'll discuss about the VS Code, IDE through how we can push the pull the code, how we can create everything through whatever we are doing through command line. The same we'll discuss on the GUI tools also, like a VS Code and Eclipse. Okay. So module 3 will discuss about the Git basics, creating a Git repository, uncloning a repository, Git directory structure, checking the status, adding files, committing changes, viewing history. So on the module 3 we'll discuss. Module 4 will discuss about the working with the branches, understanding the branches. What is a branch? Creating a branch, switching from one branch to another branch, merging the branches. So if you have the conflict while merging the branches, how to resolve the conflicts and deleting the branches. So how to merge the branches. Okay. So we'll discuss on the module 4. So module 5 will discuss about the Git workflow and the collaboration. So remote repositories, what are the remote repositories? Git remote -v, pushing the changes from your local to remote, pulling the changes from your remote to local, fetching the changes, forking and pull request, and flow upstream repositories. We'll discuss about in the module 5. Module 6 will discuss about the undoing and resetting. I don't want to uh, push the changes. I want to undo the changes. Git checkout, git restore, git reset, git revert, git stashing, and git cleaning. We'll discuss about the undoing and resetting. And module 7, tags and releases, the creating the tags. So for the release of, so if you take a WhatsApp, initially the WhatsApp will be chat and contacts. That will be a WhatsApp 1.0 tag. So something like, after that, you added a code like status code on the second release. So that will be a tag WhatsApp 2.0, WhatsApp 3.0, like the tags. Okay. So we'll discuss about the Git advanced topic like Git rebase, Git cherry pick, Git hooks, Git ignore, and real time scenarios. Also, we'll discuss about the Git workflow strategies, Git flow, GitHub flow, team collaboration practices, Git in DevOps pipelines, Git LS, and productivity tips, securities in Git. So we'll discuss about these guys. So these all are we'll discuss. Okay, on the Git and GitHub. So this is a basic beginner level one. So the course will be from Monday to Friday. Yeah, 1 second, I will write it in the. Yeah. So what this course? This course is Git, Git and GitHub. It looks like same like as a. If you know the Git, so it will be easy for the Git lab and Bitbucket also. The same operations will do it in the these remote repositories also, a Bitbucket, GitLab, GitHub, Azure repo, AWS repo. If you know one repositories, it will be very easy to understand the other repositories also. Okay. So what are the prerequisites? So I already told you, right? The prerequisites, none. So anyone can attend this program. What is the duration? Duration is 5 days. What is the duration, guys? Duration is 5 days from Monday to Friday. The duration is from Monday to Friday. Trainer, you already know, right? The trainer is Mr. Hari. So I'm having 12 plus years of experience I have. And the class timings 9 p.m. IST to 10 p.m. IST. Okay. So what we will provide in this course? We'll provide soft copy, class notes, and recorded videos will share via Google Drive. Google Drive. Guys, understood? Guys,
Yes, yes, okay.
yeah. Any doubts?
From when we'll start the batch? Date.
Yeah, from today onwards, today, Monday to Friday.
Okay,
It will continue.
it will continue. Fine.
Okay. Guys, anyone having any doubts?
Yeah, merging strategies will be discussed, right?
Yes, yes. So I already told you, right? I already showed. So that merging strategies, how we can. cherry pick, how you can merge from one branch to another branch. We will discuss that.
The developer point of view will be discussed, right?
Yeah. It will be discussed on developer point of view. Anywhere it will be. Anyway, something like if you're a QA engineer, if you're a DevOps engineer, if you're a developer, the merging will be same. So whatever you developed that code will be pushed to the branch. For example, the branches. So for example, so development branch. So you are pushing from your local to development branch and merging from local to main, right? Then production branch. Yeah, we'll show you the merging strategies, how we can merge them. Yeah. Anyone having any doubts? Yeah, each and every topic will go thoroughly. You will understand the topics, whatever we showed in the right. The every topic will cover and in depth. You will understand the every topic. Saran Panda.
So this is the 5-day course, right? So in 5 days it will be completed, right?
Yeah, Friday it will be complete.
Okay.
Yeah. Any doubts, guys?
Hari, we have any certification on this? So after this, we can try and get a certification.
Certification means
I mean, in any exams we can write on this to get certified on this particular content.
Git, there is no certification, right?
No
GitOps, we
certification.
have a
Okay.
certification. So if you want to write that GitOps, so GitOps is nothing but a CI/CD. So we are not
Okay.
covering on the
Covering
CI/CD.
that, yes.
CI/CD is related to DevOps.
Got it.
Got it, right?
Yes.
You will understand how Git works.
Yeah, that is important. Yes, got it.
Yes. Guys, any doubts? Yeah. So what is the module one? Module one is what is a version control system, source code management tool. So Git is a source code management tool or a version control system. So what is a version control system? What is the difference between centralized version control system and distributed version control system? So before that, you don't know what is Git and what is GitHub. I will show you high level what is Git and GitHub, right? So for example, so this is your local Git, guys. This is your local Git. So you can whatever you develop the code through the VS Code or whatever it may be. Okay. Yeah, initially we can push it in our local repository. Git is a distributed version control system. I will tell you. So okay, what is a distributed? What is a centralized? So meanwhile, so this is the local Git, guys. So you install the local Git with a Git bash. Okay, this is nothing but a Git. So whatever the options we are working on it, merging, creating, branching, and creating and checkouting and create the branch and view the branches and write the code and uh, what is that git add, git commit, the code will be going to staging changes, everything will be done through then the git. And if you want to push from your local to remote, so what is that, a remote repository. So what is this remote repository? GitHub.com. So this is my account, Harikrishna Charuko 866, and my repository is AWS DevOps material. So this is my repository. I am pushing from my local to remote. So remote, this is the GitHub. So GitHub is the remote repository to store the data. So whatever it may be a code or it may be a developer code, it may be a QA automation code, or it may be a analytics, or it may be anything else. anything we can push it to the remote repository. So what is a GitHub? To store the data in the remote. To store the data in the remote. I will tell you, but just high level. So this is the local Git, and this is the remote GitHub repository. Same like as a Bitbucket, same like as a GitLab. Okay, I will tell you.
Hari,
So this is
just a
yeah,
question. Sorry to
yeah.
interrupt. Can I
Yes,
can
yes,
I
you
ask
can.
the question?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Basically, like, see, I have this confusion of the differences of the basic, like, what is the difference between GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket? So we have so many repositories. Like, that is the
Not
first thing.
repository.
Okay.
Remote repositories.
Remote repositories, like, we have different
Mm-hmm.
remote repositories, like, so I get
Mm-hmm.
confused, like, where do we use Git, where do we use GitHub, like, when do we use Bitbucket, what is the difference of these remote repositories, and how do we see, basically I'm from non-technical background. Okay, so I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
understand this content.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
another question I have is, like, regarding this, how
Mm.
do we navigate by using GUI, and how do we navigate by using command line prompt?
Yes, yes.
So
Exactly
that's
what we will discuss in this course.
that
So
is
what are
also one
yeah.
topic where I get
Mm.
confuses. I mean, like, I get confused
Yeah,
easily.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So for example, bike. What is that? Bike is the common term, right, Srinivas?
Hmm,
So who will provide that bikes? Who will making that bikes? Honda company, Hero
Some companies,
company,
yes.
Royal Enfield company, Bajaj company. But the bike is same. It may be
Same.
a 4 gears or 5 gears. Okay. If you know how to drive the bike, it will be very easy to drive the other bikes also. For example, if you know the how to drive a hero bike,
Hmm.
so it will be the same manner. It will be the same for the other bikes also. For
Company bikes
example,
also, yes.
Bajaj Pulsar or something like Honda or right.
Hmm.
Same way. So that GitLab, GitHub, Bitbucket is are the same.
Okay, okay.
Okay. It's a common term is a remote repository. Okay.
Okay.
So common term is remote repository. We can store that data. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we can store the data. So it's a remote repository. We can store the data. So some companies are using remote repositories like GitHub. Some companies are using GitLab. Some companies are using Bitbucket. So for example, in my company, currently I'm working on the GitLab. In my previous company, I used Bitbucket. Okay. So I'm doing the
Okay.
freelancing also. So in the freelancing, I'm working on the GitHub. The
Hmm.
operation should be same. Okay.
Okay.
The operation should be
And
same,
how
but
do we get to select that remote repository? I'm like, for our current whatever the project may be, like, or is it a
mhm,
development managed service, like, whatever that
yeah, yeah.
technology they are using and language they are using, how do they select this remote repository? For this project, GitHub will be good. For this project, Bitbucket will be good. For this project, GitLab will be good. Like, how do they choose that?
No, no, no. So it will be reflect on the licensing part. So something like
Okay.
compared to the GitHub, GitLab or Bitbucket. So it will
Hmm.
be comparing to the licensing part. So for example, you took the only GitHub service as a repository service. You did not get the Git option. So you only use it for the GitHub. The licensing part will be very cheap compared to the
Okay.
GitLab. So because of GitLab inbuilt, they have a CI/CD.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, the same like as a before in the Bitbucket, they did not added in the CI/CD. Nowadays they also added the CI/CD.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
so if you want to buy or if you want to get the license in GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, so you can get it and get the licensing part. Which one is the best, and you can take it.
Okay.
The operations wise same.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. It's nothing but to do, like, based on project they'll select. No, right? It's all
Based no
based
no
on
no no. I
licenses.
will. Why we need to use the mm, why we need to choose the project? Because of GitHub is to store the data. So if it is
Hmm.
a
True.
Java,
True.
you can
True.
store that Java. If it is a Python, you can store the Python. if it is a PHP, if it is a .NET, whatever it may be. You can just, what is a repository? It's a remote repository to
To
store
store
your
the data.
data for the
Yes.
safe side, for the safer
Safer
side.
side.
And for example, so you are working in the India, some people are working on the Canada, some people are working from the US.
Mm.
So you three guys have worked on the three different modules. You want to integrate that code in one place, right?
Yeah.
So how it will be possible? You will go to the Canada or you will go to the US. So there is a one centralized repo. There is a one remote repository. So everyone can connect this repository
Makes
and
sense.
store the data.
Okay. Okay. Understood.
Okay, for the
And anything to
collaboration.
do and I mean IDs comes into a role here. Like some may use like VS Code, some will use Eclipse. So
Yeah. For example, so it is also varies from company to company. I'm using VS Code. In my company, also using VS Code for developing the writing the code. For
writing the code.
example, yeah, mostly I worked on the Kubernetes, Terraform, Ansible, right? I'm
Mm.
comfortable with the VS Code. Some people
Okay.
are for the development side. Some people are comfortable with the Eclipse. Some people are comfortable with the for QA, IntelliJ or Atom or something like some other IDE tools.
Mm.
But every IDE we can they are already included the plugin like a Git.
Okay. So
Okay,
for every IDE, they have all the four plugins they can choose.
what plugins?
I mean these remote repositories.
No. Git is a GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket. These three are the remote repositories. I will tell you.
Mm.
So what is Git?
Okay.
What is GitHub? You will understand.
Finally. Okay. Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he is asking CI/CD means CI/CD is nothing but a continuous integration and continuous deployment. So that is a different nail. So that is a different that will be used for the DevOps guys to deploy the applications. Are you working? Are you a real-time employee, Neil, or something like you want to learn?
No, I'm the employee.
Okay. So you are a developer, QA, or DevOps, operation engineer. Who is
I'm the developer.
you are the developer.
Yeah.
So in our company, are you using a monolithic application or a microservice-based application? And legacy, still you are working through the waterfall model or agile methodology.
We are using the agile methodology.
Mhm.
So basically, we are using the IntelliJ ID.
Mm. So IntelliJ ID for okay. So CI/CD is the automation tool for the deployments. How your company are doing the deployments?
We are using the pipeline to automate the deployment process.
Yeah, pipeline is nothing but a CI/CD, right? So Jenkins or so which CI/CD are you using in our company?
We are
CI/CD
using the Azure
Jenkins.
DevOps.
Okay, Azure DevOps. So Azure DevOps is the solution where they are added all the tools in the Azure DevOps. So Azure DevOps is a one type of a CI/CD tool. So that continuous and integration and continuous deployment. So in that they are using the tool that CI/CD Azure DevOps tool, and we can deploy the changes, right?
Yeah, I'm not aware that what is a
Familiar with the Azure
CI/CD.
DevOps, right? Right.
Yeah,
You are from the developer background, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Basically, before these GitLab, GitHub, Bitbucket are the repositories, remote repositories, and they are included their CI/CD in that remote repository, that GitHub, GitLab, and Bitbucket. So we can deploy through this GitLab, GitHub, and Bitbucket also. So leave it that part, guys. That will be confusing. Okay, understood, guys? Yeah. So what is a Git? What is a GitHub? So before that, what is a version control system? So, for example,
Hari, we'll be getting these notes, right?
Yeah.
PDF. Okay. Because I'm not
Here I will
maintaining
write
any running
everything.
notes.
Here, yeah,
So,
yeah. Here I will write everything.
fine.
Okay.
Sure.
Yep. So for example, this is a guy, a developer or QA or DevOps, whatever it may be, guys. You guys can think it from your perspective. Yeah. So these all are the, for example, developers, guys. This guy is working from Hyderabad, and this guy is working from USA, and this guy is working from Canada. This guy is working from Pune. Okay. So these all are working from different places. Okay. So this guy is also, these are the local machines, guys, either laptop or a desktop. They are writing their code in the local machines. They want to store the data. So how to integrate all the developers code at one place? How to integrate all the developers code at one place? All the developers code at one place. And how to track code changes in the project. So how to? So means who modified the code, who modified, when modified, what modified, why modified. Okay. So why modified? So for example, what this is? So this is the a remote repository. What this repository? This repository is GitHub. What is it, guys? So this is the GitHub repository, and the repository name is, for example, Citibank. What is the repository name? Citibank is the repository. So they, whatever the developers develop that code, right? They will push it to the a GitHub repository. What this GitHub? GitHub is the remote repository. What is this? So this is the remote repository. How to push from their local to remote? So here this is the GitHub. So we need a Git client. What is that? So we need a Git client to push and pull the code. What is that? Git client. Okay. So whatever the developer develop that code, right? That push it to the from from your local repository. What is that? So here local repo. So here also local repo. So here also local repo. So here also local repo. Okay. So they are sending their code from, so whatever the developer develop that code, right? That will first send it to the local repository. From local repository, we can push it to the remote repository. Push it to the remote repository. Now, how to integrate all the developers code at one place? Through the GitHub. Okay. How to track the changes in the project? For example, this guy is pushed. So right after that, connecting to this GitHub, he removed some code. So who will, when modified, what modified, why modified, right? This GitHub, Git and GitHub will track the changes also. Will track the changes also. Yes, understood? Through the Git client, they can push it to the GitHub report repository. Remote repository. So what is a Git, guys? Git is a version control system for tracking the changes in computer files. It's generally used for the source code management in software development. What is that? A source code management in software development. So whatever the developer develop, right, that will push it to the Git server or a remote repository. Okay. Now I will tell you the difference between Git and GitHub. So now you understood, right? So it's a source code management tool. What this is? This is a source code management tool or a version control system. So what it will do? It will track the changes. It will versioning the changes also. What is version control system or a source code management tool? Version control system or a source code management tool. So what is a version control system or a source code management tool? What is that? Now you understood. So multiple developers will work for a project development, right? So the second point is developers will be working from the multiple locations. The developers will be working from the multiple locations. Developers will be working from multiple locations, right? Then all developers code should be stored at one place. So all developers code should be stored at one place. One place to integrate all the developers, source code at one place. We will use source code repository software. Source code repository softwares like GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, AWS repo or Azure repo. We have a number of tools, Azure repo and etc. Okay,
AWS
there are
code commit both are same, right?
code commit.
Both are same, right? AWS. Okay.
Code commit. Both are same. Okay. And there are two types of version control systems. How many types? There are two types of version control system. So what are those? One is a centralized version control system. Centralized version control system. The second one is distributed version control system. What is that? Centralized version control system and a distributed version control system. So what is a centralized version control system? What is a distributed version control system? Okay. For centralized version control system, we can use as a SVN subversion. So the code will be stored under the remote repository. The code will be stored under the remote repository. Yeah. So the source code management tools are two types. One is a centralized version control system, the distributed version control system. So in the centralized version control system, so we have only one server, and this is your laptops. So we have a working copy and commit to the remote repository. So there is no local copy. If the remote server goes down or crashes, so the entire code will be gone. So the advanced from centralized to a distributed version control system. What are the advantages of the distributed version control system? The code will be available in two locations. So one is remote repository and the local repository. So the code will be available under the remote repository as well as local repository. So if the code is crashes or something like the server crashes or down from the remote repository, the code will be available under the local repository. Local means every client having their every client having their Git, on that Git having a local repository. First, they develop the code in their working directory, then push it to the local repository. From local to remote repository. From local to remote repository. So this is a Git is a distributed version control system. So why distributed? We have a code. The code will be available in the remote repository as well as a local repository. So your code will be in the remote local repository as well as in the remote repository. Local repository, remote repository. Local repository, remote repository. Okay. So the code will be in the two places. One is local and the remote. If local crashes or if local deleted, so we have a code in the remote. If remote crashes, so there will be a code in the local. Okay. So this is the advantage of the distributed version control system. So this is the advantage of the distributed version control system. Okay.
But
So what
even
is
in the
this?
centralized repository also, Hari, that will be
Mm,
also available in the local, right?
yeah, yeah. But the local in the local repository, yeah, one second. Yeah. So in the local repository, your code will be Yeah, your code will be there. Your code will be there in the local repository and the remote repository. Here, there is no local repository. Means the tracking, everything will be not there in the local repository. Local, not local repository. There is no concept of local repository. Here, in our working copy, the tracking and the changes will be not there in the centralized version control system. But in the distributed version control system, the commits and who committed, when committed, so everything, how we can push the code. In the local, you see, in the local repository, how it will know through the git add from working directory to we can push it to the staging, then staging to local repository. So these are the tracking. So it will be a tracking in the distributed version control system. So you see, Git is a distributed version control tool that support the distributed non-linear workflows by providing the data assurance for the developing quality software. The developing quality software. You understood?
Yes, Hari. But the thing is that when you're
Mm.
working on the local repository, so
Mm.
how does the local repository knows that? I mean, basically, what I mean to say is
Mm.
how to track those
Mm.
the Git commits and Git those history. Basically, what I mean to
Yeah, yeah. How to track you are asking about, right?
yeah. Basically, that is not interacting with the remote, right? So it
Remote
will be still
repository. Yes,
it's still
yes, yes.
still still it will be in the local.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So there is a sync between the local and the remote repository, right?
Correct.
So how we can authenticate with from your local repository to remote repository. So whatever so if I see ls cd ds git git log. Yeah, you see something like this guy is so this is the local repository. You pushed the code from you committed the code from your working directory to your local repository. So how we can see it? We can see the commit ID and author, the date, and what are the commit messages. We can see it in the local repositories. So while working, you will understand Neil.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So now you understood the distributed version control system and the centralized version control system. Now, what is Git? Now you'll understand the Git and GitHub. So what is Git? What is a Git, guys? Git is a version control software. What is that? Git is a version control software. Okay. The second thing is version control a software. It's a it's a distributed version control system. It's not centralized. Not centralized. Okay. And it is used to track. It is used to track and manage changes to files locally. Okay, it is used to track and manage the changes files locally, right? So will it will use it to track and manage the changes to the files locally, right? Git is a open source. What is that, guys? Git is a open source. Git is a open source. Guys, what is open source? It's a free of cost, right?
Free of cost, yes.
Yeah. So who developed the Git? I will tell you. Okay. Yeah. Now you understood the Git. So right. What is GitHub? What is GitHub, guys? GitHub is the
Remote
GitHub is a
repository.
platform which is used to store the project related files or source code at one place, right? GitHub is a platform which is used to store project related files or source code at one place. Okay. Next, in GitHub, so we can create a source code repository. We can create the source code repository to store the project code. What is that? So we can create a source code repository to store project code. Okay. Next, all developers can connect to the project repository to store the project code. Here, Git is for every individual developer or QA engineer or a DevOps engineer. But the GitHub is for all developers can connect. What is that? All developers can connect to the project repository.
Both are
Repository
different
to
software
store.
or same?
Sorry,
Both are different software or same software? Git and GitHub.
GitHub is the software. Sorry, Git is the software, and GitHub
Okay.
is the repository, remote repository. Yeah, very good question. I will tell you. Right. So Git is a open source. What is that? Git is the Git is a open source. Open source. Who developed, guys? Linus Torvald, who developed the Linux, and he released as a open source, right? So open source means the code is available, the source code also available. What is that? The source code means, so he developed the Git software, right, through any one of the language. So that code also available freely. So right, so some companies are took that source code. Some companies are took that source code and they created their own Git repositories. Their own Git repositories. Those repositories, they created their own Git GUI repository. Git GUI tools. What that Git GUI tools? Microsoft is developed the GitHub. Who developed the GUI tool? Microsoft. What this is? These all are the GUI tools. Git GUI tools. The same way, GitLab. Some other company created the GitLab and Bitbucket. Who is that? Atlassian company, Jira. So right, Jira provided by the Jira ticketing tool provided with Atlassian, right? The same company created the Bitbucket GUI remote repositories. Okay, the same operations will be same, but they created as a remote repositories. So they created as a remote repositories, and you can store the data in the remote repositories. You can store the data in the remote repositories. You understood? Yeah. All the
Yes, sir.
developers can connect to the project repository to store the project code. Okay. Code integration will become very easy. What is that here? Code integration will become very easy. Right. So the next point is GitHub repository will monitor the code changes. What is that? GitHub repository will monitor
How
the,
how developer code will transfer from Git to GitHub?
yeah. So
Who
we'll
will
show you.
transfer that code?
So our only. So for example, these four guys, right? These four guys will transfer the code from the local repository to remote repository GitHub. So local to GitHub. So how we can transfer the code through the commands git push and git pull.
Okay,
So from the
okay,
local to remote.
okay.
So from the local to remote. So they will
Git
push
will
the
install
code.
on a developer or tester desktop, right?
Yeah, Git will install on the developer's desktop.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
And Hari, all these are open source, GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket.
No, no, those are the remote. So Git is only open source. This
Okay,
is only open source. So from this open source, they created their own GUI tools, GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket. So if you want a storage from the GitHub, you can purchase the licenses. You
okay,
can buy the licenses. Okay,
license.
the commercials. Yeah. Okay. So how it will be monitor? Who modified? When modified? What modified? Why modified? Okay. The next, who developed the Git? I already told you, right? Who developed the Git, guys? Linus Torvald. Who developed the Git? Linus Torvald. Who developed the Git? Linus Torvald. Developed the Git and he released as a open source. Released as a open source. What is open source? So what is open source, guys? So we have a 2 points need to discuss. One is so free of cost and source code also available. Source code also available, right? So what is that? Git is a CLI. What is that? Git is a CLI. How you can use this CLI? How you can use this CLI? So you can use this CLI through Git commands. So what are the Git commands, guys? The Git commands are git add, git commit, git checkout, git merge, git push, git pull, git pull. So these all are the git commands, git add, git commit, git push, git pull, git checkout, git merge. So these all are the git local commands. How you can use that commands? You can use that commands through the CLI. So what are the commands, guys? The commands is git commands. Okay. So what are those commands? Git add, git commit, git status, git log, git push, git pull, and git clone. We have a number of commands, guys. I will discuss all these commands. Okay. So git GUI tools. What are the git GUI tools, guys? I already told you, right? So some IDs are included there. The plugins, Git plugins in their tools. So Git GUI tools, GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, Azure Repo, AWS Code Commit. So these all are the remote repositories, GUI repositories. Yes, understood? What is a Git client? So this is the Git client, right? So what is a Git client? So Git client is also known as a Git or Git bash. Is used to develop. Is used in the develop permission that connects with the remote repositories. So this will connect to the remote repositories. Okay. So why Git client is also known as a Git or Git bash? Is used to in developer mission that connects with the remote repositories like GitHub. Okay, remote repositories like GitHub. So what is a remote repository? What is a local repository? So we'll discuss tomorrow, guys. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, Ali.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Please.
Um, so I just joined late. I don't know
Okay.
what was going on. So can you share the video, please?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
We'll share. We'll share. We'll share. You can check with the
and
DURGASOFT. They will share the recording.
okay, so I just made the full payment. It was a week ago. So So is this the link for daily class or the link will be changed?
Yeah, so this will be changed on tomorrow. You can check with that team, DurgaSoft team, right? In the meeting chat, right? They already posted this.
On the
Zoom
okay,
meeting.
on the Zoom meeting. Okay.
Got it?
So tomorrow we will have class, right? With the same link.
Yes, we have a class. So
Okay.
at
So if
the same timings
some
from 9 to 9
okay.
to
So
9
if
to
there's
10 p.m. IST. You got from?
sure. If there, I'm from US. So if there's something, I'll let you know.
Okay, okay.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks, Harry. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Thank you.
Hello.
Good, great. Thank
Yeah,
you, sir.
yeah.
Myself, Prasad.
Prasad.
So
Yeah,
you
Prasad.
will give the details of merge conflicts also, right?
Yes. I will tell you the merge conflict also. So if
Oh,
you have the
how?
merge conflict, how to resolve the merge conflict, I will show you.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello, Harry.
Yeah.
So, Harry, whatever diagram you are showing in this PPTs, so that all the
Mm.
diagrams you are providing, right, in the notes.
Yeah. So I
Mm.
already told you, right? So
Mm.
the PPTs, the class notes and the PPTs and the images, everything I will share it.
Okay, then it's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari, I mean, like we have today and tomorrow the demo, right? So the rest 3, so we have almost 7 modules are there, right? Can we
Yeah.
cover
So there
everything?
is no demo. So because of we have a 5 days, right? So
Yeah,
from today onwards.
right.
So it's like a class only. So the initially 15 days will be 15 minutes will be demo. So what we will cover, you understand, right? So we already started the classes. So what is a version
Yeah.
control system? What is Git? What is GitHub? So tomorrow we'll show you uh, the setup of the how to install the Git and GitHub, how to register the GitHub. What is a local repository? What is a remote repository? What is a branch? The setup will be discussed on tomorrow. And third day we'll discuss about the so how we can push their code from local to main. How we can add it in the GitLab, Git. How we can push that to your working directory to local repository, local to remote, and how we can change the branches. So we'll discuss whatever the modules I showed you, right? Everything I will cover it.
Okay, in
So I
depth,
have a
right?
rhythm. So I have a rhythm. So at the end of this class, you will understand what I discussed in the modules.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys. Anyone having any doubts? Guys?
So that's all for today's class, right?
Yeah, that's all for today's class. So actually, we need to cover another two. What is local repository? What is remote repository? But so someone has having doubts, right? We cleared that doubts. So yeah. Anyway, tomorrow I will discuss it. Thank you, guys. We'll continue from tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.